Hey there! This video is going to show a coaching session that you can get if you support our channel and community on Patreon. Hope you find it interesting. This session was about the importance of game sense and how you can improve in that regard. A silver player with D.Va on Ilios. If you want to support us and get coached in return by one of our coaches, click on the card right now. Sessions start at the beginning of every month, so don't hesitate to pledge now. Alien T-Vent, our content creator and one of the coaches in the Dojo team, will coach in this episode. Have fun!
So, tell me about yourself, your rank, how long have you been playing, what do you need help with, stuff like that.
I started playing Overwatch around December 2016, so probably like 6 months after it came out. I started playing on PC and PS4. I travel a lot, so I say, well, I got a gaming laptop, so decided to buy for PC, and then I started playing on PC more. But I have it on all the consoles, and I'm playing right now on the PC.
All right.
I consider myself like a kind of like a flex main probably, but I'm more like an off tank and support, because basically that's required to fail.
Yeah, we
always.
have a lot of DPS players. Usually if you flex you need to fill
Everybody
for
thinks.
tank or support.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's a DPS player, so
Yeah.
usually tanks and support. My main tanks are probably Reinhardt. I'm trying to work better with Winston. And my off tanks, I will say D.Va and Roadhog. Mira and Zen. I suck at Mercy and all the others.
Okay. Alright, and your current rank, season high?
The highest I have been is 1800, I think. Right now I'm a low silver. After a week in bronze, I was able to get back to 15 now.
Okay, and do you usually play solo?
Yeah, I'm a group of people playing with me, but usually I play solo queue most of the time.
Alright. Okay, and what kind of VOD are we going to see today?
And I think it's from season 7. I place. This is a winning game. I don't feel like I actually won, but I played on Ilios with D.Va.
Okay. Alright, I'm sending you a link. You need to click it and you need to register a new account if you don't have one. And this is the platform that we are using to review the VOD together. If you saw our video about it, you should be familiar with the settings, but in case you're not, you really just need to log in. Then there is going to be a shared video control where we can watch what is happening in the VOD. Let's start with this one. Let's see if we can get a glimpse of your team. Kinda. Okay, so you have Reaper for the DPS, there's Lucio, somebody else, Norisa.
I pressed tab at some point.
Right here on the point or a bit later?
I think a little bit later.
Okay, let's wait for that then.
As Junkrat, Reaper, me as D.Va, we got a Mercy and a Lucio, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So tell me about what your goal is going to be. Without really knowing what the enemy team has, what do you need to do with D.Va? What do you need to pay attention to? What is your job?
Is mid-range and peel for my support. But I usually tend to dive more.
Okay.
First. Usually I get way too focused on trying to kill the person in front of me that I forgot that I have some teammates.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, D.Va can be played as a peeler. She can be really effective with that because of the shield mainly, and because she can boop targets away. and having a decent damage up close. She can also be played aggressively. That usually needs a team who is also damaging the targets that you are going for. So the aggressive playstyle is kind of team dependent, but you can play either one or the mixture of the two. Usually that's dependent on what is going on in the game. Alright, let's see how the first team fight goes, and then we come back to the topic. Reacting to the Reaper. That's a nice pick on the enemy Zarya.
I went for the Sen.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Alright, and just cleaning up. Let's go back to the beginning of the team fight. Okay, so when you are playing a tank, and you are an off tank now, you should keep in mind that you are there for protecting your teammates before everything else. D.Va can be used aggressively to clean up, but in the beginning of the team fight you need to be aware of what is going on around you. And I didn't mention it, but if you have any questions, just make sure to stop me and ask them. Even if you feel like it might be a dumb question or something really simple, make sure to ask it, because we want to make sure that you know everything that you need to know for this hero and for this match. So just feel free to ask. Alright, so when you're playing a tank, right in the beginning, you can do damage to the enemy team with the E, with D.Va, but you don't really want to dive in yet, because that would leave you too exposed, and you are not a main tank, you're not there to divert their attention. You are looking for opportunities to attack the enemies or to PO for your supports. And right in the beginning, I think this is done kinda well. So these rockets are mostly fed to the Zarya and eaten by the enemy D.Va. You didn't really get a lot of ult charge from it. It might be for the best if you keep the initial volley for a little bit later, until the frontliners are dropping on the point, because it will leave the backline a little bit more vulnerable. So you might get more ult charge from it and might get some extra damage. Usually it is for the best if you get a good glimpse about what the enemy team has and then use the abilities rather than go for it as soon as you see them, because they can just use it against you to get some extra charge and stuff like that. And this is mostly true for other tanks as well. You don't want to flame strike blindly into the enemy team, because it can be deflected to you, it can be eaten by the Zarya, stuff like that. Usually just leave yourself 1 to 3 seconds to get a good idea about what is going on, and then go with the abilities. So this is just the beginning. Let's see what is going to happen here. You're still looking for opportunities to shoot the enemies. Right now it is important not to feed the enemies, because it is so easy to do that with D.Va. You are mobile, you can get in the face of the enemies, but you are also a big target that they can shoot at. And if they want to charge their ults instead of trying to get a pick, because you are still far away from getting in close contact with them, you should try to pay attention not to be damaged too much, because it will leave you a lot weaker when you are really needed on the point and with your teammates. So it might be a good idea to, what you did here was nice, hiding behind the walls, looking for targets that you can shoot at, but also using the protection that is provided by the main tank can also be a thing. So you should either look for a good spot to spam the enemies and to get some extra ult charge, or start looking for peeler to peel for your team actively.
Okay.
Alright. So hiding behind walls, using shields. Yeah.
To get the attention of Zarya, of Lucio to me. I think that was one of the reasons I was shooting down to her.
Yeah, that's good.
Was trying to get out of the beam, but
yes. When you are tank and when you are still at full health, with the supports behind you, not really confronting the enemies, not really in a big team fight. This is a thing that you should do. So even if you are in a team fight, if you can save one of your teammates by standing in between the enemy and them, you should usually do so. So for example, with Zarya, you can protect your Reinhardt if the shield was broken by standing in between him and the enemies, and that will give you some extra charge. You can do so with the D.Va as well, divert the attention, as you said, and that's really good. So that's well done here. And then noticing that the Reaper is coming from the left flank and going for him, that was well done as well. Focusing down the Zarya, she is an important target, and if you can get rid of the Zarya, that's a really good pick. And now is the time when you go from being passive and looking for opportunities to peel and to dive, to actually diving into the enemy team. So with D.Va, that can be done with ease, and this was done well. You pick the target who was already low, a target with high value, because if you get rid of the Zen, you get rid of the Discord. So you did this well.
Extra damage they got. Yeah.
Okay, so the Zarya was rezzed. Okay, a little bit of preemptive rockets here. When you are going for a target, it is usually a good idea to, unless he is really out in the open, to wait for an extra second or two to make sure that you plant most of the ability that you use in the face of the enemy. Because if you start it too early, they might be able to step away from it. And this is generally true in Overwatch, that you are looking for commitments. So if the enemy is just peeking in, you shouldn't use your resources unless you want to keep them at bay. But usually if you want to do damage, you want commitment from the enemy, because otherwise they can just bait out abilities and then come back in when it's over. And this works for all the heroes. So the soldier might be just stepping in to check what is going on, and if you start the rockets too early, you won't get a lot of value from it. And you want to farm the ult with it, you want to get an extra damage on the soldier, and if you start it too early, he can just sidestep or go back towards the team, wait until it's over, and then come back. That's a minor thing about ability usage. Okay.
Also, don't talk too much.
Yeah, that's not a big issue. Usually players don't talk anywhere between plat and rarely in plat. It mostly starts in diamond, but it's kind of dependent on what or when you play. But yeah, it's not a big deal. Okay, let's go back here because we are losing the mech. Tell me what is going wrong in this situation.
I think I'm basically alone with a 5.
Yep, there's a Zarya to the left, D.Va, Zenyatta, Mercy, I'm not sure who else is here, the soldiers just died. So yeah, you are in a spot where every one of these can hit you easily. Yes, you have the shield and you can kind of boost away, but you can protect yourself from all the sides, and this is a really exposed position. What do you want to achieve here?
I think I was trying just to keep them away from the point.
Okay. So, in this situation, you have the point, and you were able to get a pick on the enemies, so they are going to be in a 5v6 situation. In situations like this, you don't need to be aggressive, not yet. Because there are situations where you can be, because you want to wipe the enemies, you want to use the advantage of 1 or 2 picks to just steamroll the enemies, farm the ults, make sure that they can't even touch the point, they can't farm ults. But right now, you are in a position where you are really exposed and you don't have a lot of value from it. Because you are not going to keep them at bay by yourself, and you are losing a lot of resources just to keep yourself alive, rather than standing on a point waiting for them because they have to come at you, and then deciding where you should use these resources for the best. Alright? Okay. So, anytime when you are getting in, so you have the advantage, and this is really important, realizing that you have the advantage and that they need to be on the point, they need to initiate. Anytime that they spend waiting is a good time for you, but you shouldn't. So this is not as important as staying alive and making sure that you get into the face of the enemies as they get to the point, because they will be more exposed. Alright. It is also important to notice that by stepping in here, you lose the line of sight of the Mercy. Lucio can't really heal you. I don't really see any of his aura around. So you are cutting yourself away from the rest of your team by getting into this position. This is also an important concept for tanks. You want to make sure that you have the line of sight as much as possible of your supports, because that's how you can stay alive. And if you lose the line of sight, if they can't heal you, you are going to be in a really hard to get away from position. Alright? Any questions?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
If I'm going too quickly, just say so. Or if you want me to elaborate on any specific, you should tell me. Alright, let's continue with this. So, you're getting in too deep and they can just get rid of your mech, which is kind of unfortunate because you were needing the ult and that can push them back. Okay, so what is going on right now?
I knew I was probably on one target and I'm pretty vulnerable out of my mech, so I was trying to back up and getting away from damage and spawn.
Okay, yeah.
So I could get my mech back.
Could you tell me a better position to be right now?
Pillars inside.
Around the
where
point.
my rest of the team was.
Around the teammates, yes. So the Reaper was flanking from right in the beginning. So he was coming from the left side. And you can expect him to do so as the match continues, because it seems like he's playing an aggressive playstyle, coming for the backline as much as possible. When you are in a baby D.Va situation, you are looking for easy ways to land your shots and to farm your ult back and farm the mech back. And this is usually best done around tanks when they offer protection for you, because they can shield you and it makes your life really easy, because you only have to concentrate on your aim, not on staying alive. Whereas if you pull away towards enemies, you're going to have a hard time just staying alive and you can't really have a good opportunity to farm your ult. So I would recommend staying around the team when you're a baby D.Va. That is, unless the enemy team is playing a dive, because then you want to get the hell out of there, because you are going to be an easy target. Alright?
I think I didn't hear the Reaper coming in.
Okay.
But I call it out when he kills me in a couple of seconds.
Okay. Alright. Okay, so you have the ult. Tell me about what you know about the ult. How do you use it?
And now I usually just throw it in the air.
Okay. What for?
It's better against barriers sometimes.
Alright. So to clear obstacles, to clear shields, maybe get kills.
Yeah.
Is that all?
Usually, I rarely use it to get kills. It's more like get people off the point, like
Okay.
a Sony note.
Yeah, to push them away. Use it to deny positions. Okay, that's good. That's good. Do you use it as a second life? To replenish your mech?
Yes, if I'm about to die, I to get my back back, because I know I'm nothing without my mech.
Okay, yeah. So D.Va's ult is a good tool to force the enemies from a position, to deny positions. But it is a really valuable tool also to get your mech back. Because when you are getting low and you can still launch it in the air, maybe get some damage in, and you get the mech back, you get the resources back, you get the shield back, and all your abilities, except the ult, of course. This can be used to stay on the point for longer periods of time. This can be used to gain effectively 1.2 thousand HP, and that's a lot. And this can be used to replenish the shield, which is also important. Because if you are being pressured really hard, you can just throw it in the air, force the enemies from the position that you are defending or that you are attacking, and then get back the shield and the booster and stuff like that. So it can be used to as a second life, and that's important. I just wanted to talk about it because I'm not sure how you are going to use it. I just wanted to get the idea about what you know about it.
One of the teammates recently changed to Orisa. I think we didn't have one at the beginning.
I think you did. You were just playing two in front, not behind the shield. I think I saw an Orisa right in the beginning. Okay. Could you tell us that this Reaper was about to ult?
I saw him like really aggressive.
Yes.
And I knew like he's gonna ult at some point.
Yes. Okay. This is an important thing. When you are playing on lower leagues, players tend to give a lot of value to their ults. Even if they force themselves in bad positions, they think that it's worth it because the DPS ult will get a lot of kills. But this can be used against them. This can be used to predict what they are going to do. And this can be witnessed even in higher leagues as you progress, because one of the things in the current meta is the Zarya Hanzo combo that they do a lot. And you can usually tell by the movements of the Zarya that she is about to ult. And the same thing is happening here, and this can be really important for you because you have the shield, you have the ways to deny most of the damage of the Reaper. And this was done kinda well. The Lucio was too close to help him, but you denied most of the damage. I'm just saying that as a tank, because you have the ability to deny abilities from the enemy team, it is really important to pay attention to what they are doing. And if you are able to predict what they are going to do, you are going to be able to deny it, and that can be really annoying to them. You can deny ult charge, you can deny critical ults like the Reaper ult and stuff like that. So D.Va can be really strong in that aspect. Alright?
Yeah, I've been trying to also work on the hooks when I got a teammate hook and use the matrix. And I'm been working on my matrix.
Yeah.
In this video, it sucks. I try to do my best, but
yes, when you are using the matrix, you are generally not using it to deny these small amounts of random damages. You don't really need to care about them unless the enemy team is about to, or unless the enemy team is just doing a lot of damage from afar, then you can use the shield to mitigate some of the damage. But usually the shield matrix should be used to deny enemy abilities. So if there's a Reinhardt, it should be clear to you that you are going to be able to deny most of the flame strikes because it has a long animation, a slow travel time. And by denying the abilities of the Reinhardt, you are going to be able to slow his ult charge by a lot. And this is also an important topic with D.Va, that when the enemy team has these kind of heroes, Moira for example, another good example, if she is throwing orbs into your team to farm ult and to do some random damage, you can be there. You can expect the orb with your shield matrix. Alright? Alright. Okay, enemies are using a lot. Okay, tell me, what is your current objective here?
Now stall for time so we can get more percentage of it. I know I'm gonna die.
Yes.
But I'm just gonna get it to 99%, so we just have to win one fight to get the point.
Okay. Should you use an ult in a situation like this?
I probably have used it. I think I use it right now, but I know that I shouldn't have used it.
Yes. Okay. Really important that in a situation like this, it's kind of already lost, and even if it's not clearly visible that it's lost, the enemies used a lot of ults, so that's good in itself. And you are nearing the 99%, so you don't really need to contest it for a long time. You just need to contest it for barely enough time. Give it to the enemies, regroup, and use all your resources to try to wipe them and win cleanly. If you use the ult now, you are giving up an opportunity to come back more with more strength in the next fight. Okay? So it's important not to waste the ult in situations like this. And let me ask you a question about the kill feed. Do you use it?
I tend to forget about that it's there.
Okay.
I see it sometimes, but it's not a habit of mine just to look at it all the time.
Okay. That's also a thing that can help you improve by a lot, because this game can seem to be about mechanics on the low level, but it's really mostly about information. And the kill feed is the best source of information that you can have. It will tell you about what kind of ults were used, what kind of enemies are still around, and by just looking at the screen you can get a lot of information about what is going on. So making sure that you are monitoring the kill feed can give you a lot of information that you can work with. It can tell you, for example, that a critical target is already dead and that you should not focus on trying to counter them with the matrix, as we talked about earlier. Stuff like that. It can be a really strong tool in your kit if you are monitoring the kill feed actively. So I recommend you to do that. Even if it means that in the next few games you are paying a lot of attention to it and not that much attention to the actual game, it's worth it on the long run. You will be a lot stronger. All right. All right. 2 kills there. That was actually good. Okay. And they just went away from the point. So using the ult here was actually not that bad, because the situation was kind of even. You had even kills on both sides, and this can also be told from looking at the kill feed. So in a situation like this, it's kind of okay to try to use the ult. It still may not be the ideal choice if you are in a stalemate, but it was good in this one. All right. Yeah, about using the ult. So it is usually better to try to launch it in the air. It will affect a larger area, but it got the effect of pushing the enemies because they were panicking, so to say. They were trying to get away from the point as quickly as possible, and it had a good usage because of that. But usually it's kind of better to try to bomb the air with it. You will cover more ground and it's easier to kill targets behind obstacles if they don't position perfectly. Alright, so far so good. Any questions to the first part? We were talking about a lot of things. You can ask anything basically.
When I throw my ult to the ground, I thought I was trying to do like a cheeky thing, like blaming, trying to make the enemy think that I was actually throwing in the air.
Okay.
Make them go to the point, and then I just throw it to the ground.
Okay. Yeah.
Something different. It worked out. I don't know why, but
yeah, they were too deep, I think. And maybe the monkey just jumped into it. I don't really see him. Yeah, he is falling down right in the right. There is going to be the body. So he might just got unlucky. And
the Junkrat who used a concussion mine and put him in the air.
Yeah, might be, yeah. The D.Va was too deep. The Zarya was able to get away because of the shield. So it worked out, but it was not ideal, I would say. But after that, pushing away the enemies, that was good. Okay, anything else? The first part? Or any of the topics that we were discussing so far?
Other than the better usage of the Matrix.
Yeah.
Probably my main issue right now. I'm probably doing calls or keeping with the team.
Okay. Yeah. So when you are trying to make a better use of the Matrix, it's really dependent on what the enemy team has. So let's say the enemy team runs the same comp as you. Which one of these characters pose a threat to you that you can counter with your shield? Just by thinking about it.
Play the main Junkrat and Reaper.
Why Reaper?
Bolt.
Yes.
But it's a close compact DPS, so.
Okay, so.
Gonna be all over my face first.
Yeah, if he can get around, yes. Okay, so when the two teams collide, that's the first encounter where you have to pay attention to the shield usage. You want to get a good idea about what the enemy team has. This is why I was telling you that you shouldn't use your abilities right away. You should get a good idea about what the enemy team has, because it allows you to make better decisions, because you have access to more information. Alright, so you see that they run the exact same comp as you. Then you should be able to tell that this is not going to be a fight that you fight from afar, because the only hero that can do that to some success is Junkrat. Lucio can spam, Orisa can spam, but it's not that big of a deal. And denying the Junkrat shouldn't be an issue because you have the Orisa, because you are running the same comp. So in this particular fight, right in the beginning, you don't really have to use it to deny anything. If the enemy team had a Reinhardt, for example, or I don't know, maybe Pharah, who you can shield with the Orisa, then you have better targets than just generally denying damage from the enemy team. Alright? And then you can focus on denying those targets with the shield. This is how you should use it right in the beginning. After that, so what you said about the Reaper is true, and it's important that you should peel for your supports. You should look for flankers if they are around, because you can help your support stay alive, and you can help killing the enemy flanker if you pay attention to that, if you deny their abilities and stuff like that. And as the game progresses, now you have a good idea about what the enemy team has and what you can deny with your shield. And the general rule of thumb that every hero is going to have an ult in every second team fight. So if you keep this in the back of your mind, you're going to be able to tell that this Reaper is going to try to wreck your team. And then you shouldn't use the shield to just deny random spam, random damage. Let your main tank do that. And focus on countering what matters in the current situation. Alright? So it's really situation dependent, and it's really about context. Cool? Alright. Let's see the next round. Or if you have any more questions about that, you can ask them.
See, like a poor usage of my matrix in this round. So.
Alright. We're going to analyze it. No fireworks for you.
Always seems. I think I have done it like once.
It's harder to do with tanks who can crouch. Yeah, this is not how you want to use it. You are basically just giving it away for free. Alright? Okay, so right now you see most of the enemy team. There's a Hog, a Lucio, a Pharah, somebody up there, maybe a Reaper. Not sure. There's a Mei also. Who do you pay attention to with the shield matrix?
Say earlier, the Pharah.
Yes. And the Hog.
Right now, the Hog.
Okay, so you can deny the combo of the Hog single-handedly. You can deny a lot of damage from the Hog. Because even if he gets a hook from this position, it is kind of safe for your teammates because you can just go there and shield matrix the shot after that. So paying attention to that is important, and also making sure that you deny damage if you don't have a better target for the shield. Okay, and this is why you don't want to deplete it. The same thing that I was mentioning earlier, that you should get a glimpse about the enemy team, good understanding of what they are using, and then you can decide how to best use the shield. Okay. Yeah, there's a Junkrat on top, so they are doing a lot of damage, and in a situation like this it is kind of okay to use the shield to mitigate damage, because they are dependent on the damage. They are not really pulling cheeky stuns and stuff that you want to eat with the shield. Okay, so let's see how it goes from here.
In that case, I didn't have the matrix to help
Yes. So there was the Hog, you saw the Hog, but you didn't have enough resources to deal with it.
I think I pressed it, but I didn't have any.
You
I
didn't have
saw
any
the Pharah low, and I went for her.
Yeah.
There. So I didn't have any matrix to help him out.
Okay. You are losing the mech right now. What were you doing wrong? In the next 20 seconds.
All over the place.
Yes, really important. Your main tank is on the point. She is setting up with a shield there, and you are out in the open to a lot of potential damage. And that's not a big deal because you can kinda get away. They are not focusing you right now. But it's kind of a big deal for the Orisa because she is alone on point. And these enemies are reliant on having a good line of sight because they are projectile. They are bouncing nades and rockets to their enemies. So if you are around the point, you can deny that line of sight, you can eat their shots and work together with your teammate. And here, right now, if you look around, you don't really have a good sense of what you are doing. I mean, I don't have a good sense of what you are doing. You are doing some minor damage from a long distance to most of these enemies. You are in range to maybe dive them if they go low, but you don't really serve your purpose. You don't really tank for your team. You kind of work like a DPS, and you are not really efficient if you do it like that with D.Va. All right? Realizing this in the game is really hard because you can get carried away. You just want to do damage. You just want to kill targets because that's what feels good. But when you are playing a tank, your job is to protect. Your job is to give space for your DPS. So it might be more important to save this Reaper than to save yourself. It might be more important to stay with Orisa and protect her and this nest that was set up than to do minor damage to the enemies. Is that clear?
Yes.
Alright, okay. So you can use this knowledge in the game if you realize that you are in a position where you're not doing your job to reposition yourself somewhere where you are serving your purpose. We had a video about this actually. 2 questions. Am I safe? And am I doing my job? And if you can answer with yes to both these questions, you are in a good position. If there's any no or handshaky yes, something like that, you should consider repositioning. So right now you are not really doing your job. You are in a not so safe position, so that's 2 no's. You should get the hell out of here. Okay?
I saw the video a couple of months back.
Mm-hmm. Okay, diving the D.Va. That could have been a good opportunity, but they had the supports around, so couldn't really kill her. Losing the mech here was mostly because you left yourself open by chasing this Lucio, so they can just do free damage to you from the right, where you have this shield with the Orisa. Shields are really important. Shields are your friend and friends. And if you can use a shield to just stay behind, to dance around, to avoid damage, you should do so. So in this situation, you should just pull behind the shield and still have the same damage output on the Lucio, but you could have been a lot more safe. So there are a lot of things going on here. Some of these are not that important. Minor details like this shield dancing. It can be important later, but I'm just trying to tell you everything that I can see, that I can see that you are doing well or that you are doing wrong. So you have a good idea about what is going on. And in the end, I'm going to summarize the biggest things that you can do to improve. All right?
Okay.
So we don't get lost in the details. I just want to make sure that we point out as many things as possible, because you might not work on them right now and you just place them in the back of your mind, but it will help you to maybe stay alive in a situation, to turn a team fight in your favor, stuff like that. It can help even if you don't actively pay attention to it. Alright, now this was done well. You realize that you already lost the point, you don't really have a good chance of staying alive, and you also made sure that you are doing a lot of damage by pulling away from the enemy team. So this time you didn't run into an enemy, and you were able to farm most of the ult and stay alive, and that's really important. You should be able to call the ult, and you should be able to keep farming the ult charge even passively. Okay, again, a shield usage that was not so optimal. You know that a hog is here, you know that he is going to have the hook soon, so you need that shield charge to deny the shot on anybody who is getting hooked. And there are 2 supports here around you, so mitigating these poke damages are not that important. They can just heal you up. Okay, what was going wrong here? Did you spot any mistakes? after
just one round instead of breaking, and again I was in the middle of everything and basically in the light side on everybody.
Yes, you don't have a clear focus here, and you don't really have a clear purpose. You're not using yourself effectively. You're not being a tank. You're being reckless DPS who wants to kill everybody a little bit, because you are damaging this Lucio, then that Junkrat, before that you damage somebody on a point. You're not really making a difference by staying here, and that's really important. You could make a difference by staying with the team, denying hooks, pushing enemies from the point, stuff like that. But here, you're not really doing your job. Again, it's hard to realize that in the game. Mostly it can be spotted when you're getting damage from all over the place. That should tell you that you are not in a good position. And when you are not using your kit actively, just generally throwing it away. Okay, the team managed to get to the point, and now they are kinda wasting ults, so that's good for you. Okay, one important thing here is you have the Lucio ult, so you are kind of safe against the burst damage of the Junkrat, but you just want to make sure that you deflect, or rather shield damage if somebody is exposed to the Junkrat. You don't want to lose anybody on the point right now. And that can be more important than doing damage, because there are DPS around you, they can do damage. You just need to make sure that you protect them. Alright. Again, no shield for the hook. Okay. This is good that this happened. This can be really important. Okay, what happened here? This makes the difference between a mediocre D.Va and a good D.Va, and generally a mediocre tank and a good tank. Junkrat is being damaged in a way that can be saved. How can I tell that it can be saved? That he is being protected from all other positions, exposed to only this Mei. Alright? So if you realize that he is in a bad spot, but he is not all lost, because he is not being exposed here in the middle of everything, you can't really save that. But here, if you realize that he is being frozen, he is being stunned, locked down, anything like that, you can put yourself between the enemy and between the one who you want to protect. Body blocking the enemies, making sure that they damage you, because you are healthy. You can just sacrifice that 200 HP to make sure that this Junkrat is alive, and he is going to come back and do damage to the enemies in return. Alright? Do you do this in your matches?
To put myself in between my teammates and some damage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. Being frozen, being stunned, being hooked, being pushed away, these can be really good spots where you can realize that you need to be there, you need to body block the enemies, alright? So this time you could have saved that Junkrat even without the shield by just boosting into the Mei, pushing her away, putting yourself in between. Okay, they're using a lot of ults. And now you are using the shield. That's good. And you are also using the walls. Okay. Yeah, that was kind of okay. I think it was a little bit preemptive. So this right here. They started pushing the point. You were playing around the shield, so that's good. Not exposing yourself, making sure that you do damage and that you mitigate damage as well. You used the ult a little bit preemptively. You still had like 300 HP. Okay? the Hog doesn't get any value from that 300 HP. He can get through it quickly, and you can just push the ult in the last second, making sure that you stay alive. So you can get a lucky headshot or two, and that makes it hard for you to stay alive. That's a nice res by the Mercy. Okay. Any questions to this part?
Just see chaos. Right
Yeah,
now.
chaos, yes. But this is not so bad. You still have the point. You just fight for controlling the point. And you have the advantage because you are behind these walls and you can use this to mitigate damage, to avoid damage. Okay, there's an Orisa on the point. She just came back. So that's also, again, important to realize that your tank is around. You should pull back behind the shield to avoid being hooked like this or damaged for free. When there's shield around, you should use it. Ooh, you capped. That Mercy kept you alive. That was really good. Good choice. Going for the Hog because he's an easy target. And your goal is to farm the ult here. And you can through the shield then. Maybe boosting into it can help. And they are trying so hard, but getting choked right now. Okay, that was nice. Pushing the enemies back right in the last second, like you did in the first match. That was good. Alright, question time. Hit me. Do you have anything?
I think this is an old video. I don't know if I keep doing the same thing. I've been trying to improve a lot on D.Va.
Okay.
Like stay on with my team and try not to use a lot of my unless it's necessary, but I really want to be like a more probably like a more vocal player.
Vocal
improve my game sense so I can say, oh, like you said, keep
track of what is going on.
I can call stuff up a little bit better, or call stuff like, oh, we got 2 picks, or we got 2 people down, let's go back, or retreat, let's group up first, even though they don't listen to me, which would probably happen a lot. But if I keep climbing up, I want to be, I don't want to say, oh, because I was in bronze, I didn't need to do that, then find myself in plat and see different stuff and carry what I've been doing on bronze and silver.
Okay, yeah, I get the idea. Okay, so being more vocal and understanding the game in more depth basically needs practice and good guidance about what are the things that you should look for. These can be improved by playing the game, but I also believe that this can be improved by watching high-level players play in the same role as you, because they are usually communicating, and just by listening to the communication you can tell what they are focusing on. With D.Va, for example, they are either diving or they are diverting an enemy, they are trying to make the life of the enemy sniper a living hell, something among those lines. Listening into the communication to high-level players, streamers, pro gamers. Sometimes we can hear teams communicating in contenders or OVL. Can help a lot in figuring out what high-level players are paying attention to, because this is going to be the same no matter what level you are at. you are going to pay attention to how the enemy team is moving, you might just not be able to use all the information that is available for you. So if you want to improve in that regard, I would recommend listening in to these, watching players, and also trying to experience it for yourself, because you will see that if it works. If you call that, alright guys, we have 1 advantage, let's roll, or 2-player advantage, let's wipe the enemy team, stuff like that. If it works, you will see it, because you are now getting endorsements. So if you are seeing a shot caller endorsement or 2 or 3 after each match, then the rest of the team thinks that you did well. So you can just try it. There's nothing to lose, and you can just experiment with it.
Watching a lot of Emong. D.Va, but he's been playing a lot of Zarya recently.
Yeah, D.Va is not that strong right now. It is really revolving around Zarya and Hanzo most of the time. But D.Va can still be used against snipers if you are running a dive team. So yeah, that's probably why.
Him is not playing, no hit scan, and I see a Pharah or a sniper, I tend to go straight to them and apply to them. Even though if I don't kill them, at least because
you're keeping the pressure on them.
Yeah, or at least move the sniper out of their position, or keep the Pharah trying to make some mistake.
Yes, you are denying the damage that the Pharah does. That can be also important. Okay, yeah, so if you want to work on the game sense, apart from listening to communications and communicating yourself, it's really about just playing the game and watching yourself play, and as we did here, try to reason situations out, try to check if your decisions were good, try to check if you had more information available that you didn't use. So paying attention to the kill feed, paying attention to what resources you have, your ult charge, your HP, because it's a lot more easier to pay attention to that when you are watching yourself back. So recording your videos and watching yourself back can be a really good tool to improve your game sense, because this allows you to stop, to think, and to have better decisions based on, or at least in theory, to have better decisions based on what you can see on the screen. And by doing this, I know this from experience because I have coached a lot of people and I do this myself. You can improve your game sense a lot, and this might be the best way to do it, because it allows you to clearly think about what is going on, rather than to just try to save yourself when you're getting damaged and from all over the place and stuff like that. Okay?
Recording myself more, but I still haven't sit down and watched my videos yet.
I think that's the hardest part, because pushing the record button, that's easy. But sitting down to rewatch yourself, to spend time on improvement, to spend actual time on rewatching your games and seeing your failures, that's really hard. But this what leads to improvement.
I'll do that more.
All right, I'm really glad to hear that. Do you have any more questions? I couldn't hear anything. So...
No,
okay.
No more questions.
No more questions. Okay. So to summarize it, I think what you can do now to improve is to pay more attention to what is going on in the game, and that's to monitor the kill feed right in the game. I know it's hard, but monitoring your resources, monitoring your ult, your HP, anything that is on the screen, if you can use it to make better decisions, you will have an easier time dealing with the situations that you get into. And you can, as we talked about in the last part here, rewatch yourself, improve your game sense. This will help you also in making better decisions using the information available. And it's not just about looking at the screen, it's also about looking around you, seeing where the enemies are, seeing where your teammates are, checking if you are in a good position to protect, to do your job, checking if you are actually doing anything meaningful or just standing out in the open, feeding the enemies, doing random spam damage, rather than protecting your allies and doing damage where it matters. Alright? So paying attention to these things. And this can be done by just setting your mind to it. I usually just have a post-it where I write my objectives about what I want to do, put to the bottom part of my monitor. So every time I play the game, when my eyes wander to the post-it, I see that my current objective is to pay attention to the kill feed. And you shouldn't start with trying to use everything at your disposal. Start small. Watch the kill feed. Make sure that you know what is going around you. Then watch your abilities. Then watch your HP. And then when it gets together, you will feel the improvement. You will feel that you will make better decisions by having more information. And there are a lot of small things, not as important right now. This is what you need to pay attention to. All right?
I will.
All right, good to hear that. Okay, I will summarize the session after we finish. Write you a summary on Discord, and if you don't have anything else, and then I think that's all.
Thank you so much. I value the feedback a lot.
All right. Okay. I really hope that you can use it and that you will use it, because I think that's the hardest part, to set yourself on the path of improvement. So good luck with that. Good luck with actually reviewing yourself, paying attention to your objectives, because playing is easy, improving is hard.
Yeah. I notice. I tend to get a little bit frustrated too.
Yeah, that's actually part of it. Bearing with your mistakes.
I'm in a losing streak.
All right. I don't have anything else, and I hope you enjoyed this session.
Thank you so much, man.
You are really welcome. And if you have any questions after the session, when you start implementing anything that we were working on, you are free to message me on the Discord, and I am usually answering in a quick manner, so just anything that comes to your mind, you can hit me up with a message.
Much appreciated.
All right. Thank you for your time. Thank you for improving, and see you around.
Thank you for your attention. Hope that you liked the session and that you can take something away from it yourself. Set your mind to improvement, work hard, and you'll get better. Don't forget that you can get sessions like this by supporting us on Patreon. Alright guys, see you guys in the next one.